everyone! Happy Wednesday! Thanks for joining me for a craft night with friends. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So last night we finished up this block from the Splendid Sampler 2 Quilt Along. It turned out so sweet. So tonight, this made us have 8 kind of completed blocks here. And tonight I thought we'd sew them into our groups of 4 so that we can make our little quilted pieces like we have done so far. So we're just kind of prepping it for that quilting process. I think that'd be a good thing. Get that done for the week. That'll like kind of clear this table and then we can start fresh making blocks again. So all right, let's get going. Okay, so here are the blocks. So again, what we're doing is I'm basically going to sew the blocks into groups of 4, and we're going to sew white stripes in between them. That's the sashing, and we're going to sew one little square right in the middle. So we're going to make 2 groups of 4 because we have 4 finished blocks now, and then eventually we will. We'll see how far we get tonight, but then we will sandwich it together, and that just means putting the front piece, the batting, and the backing piece together temporarily with pins. So we'll be basting it with pins, and then we will do the free motion quilting or whatever kind of quilting we want on top, like we've done with these finished ones are all quilted already. And then we'll actually assemble them in, add them to our pieces that we already have done here. We're doing them in rows of 5. So I should like lay all these out again sometime and see what I got going on. But anyway, so that's the plan. That's kind of how we're doing this. It's the quilt as you go process. So let's just see what we got. I'm just going to kind of lay them out. And, maybe however it comes out, or maybe we'll rearrange them a little bit. So we'll have 2 sets of 4. I think I'm going to get you guys a little higher. So that's 1. And I know on TikTok I'll have to shimmy you over here for a sec. So this is, let's put together another one. I'm literally just laying them out. I don't even know. I think I remember these guys being on the top there. I don't know like the direction that they go in. All right, so here's 2 groupings. I think now let's kind of rearrange them. I have maybe too much color in here. I don't want that much color. So let's just bring this one over here. What if we switch this one? Oh, then it's kind of like a lot of white, but that's fine. Or maybe something, maybe like this. I don't want to think too much about it. So I put more of the color over here. And so this is a little color, this is a little color. I think that's fine. We could maybe flip it like so. This is kind of weird together though. Maybe let's bring this one back to the other side. Let's go like this and this. There. These are all kind of pointy over here, and then these are got like some of that little floral stuff going on. So I think this is good. This kind of feels good with that one here too. So all right, I didn't want to spend too much time making that decision just because, it's going to look fine with whatever we do. So what I want to do next is some of these large ones. Some of these ones that we like foundation piece together or applique, they're a little bit bigger than the ones we piece. So like this one is all these ones that are pieced together with just, small cut squares and rectangles that we sew together. Those ones should be around our 6.5-inch size, whereas these bigger ones need to be trimmed down, at least the 2 edges that we're sewing in. The other 2 sides we'll leave a little bit bigger because we are going to be quilting this still, and we're going to want a little bit extra. We'll probably actually have to add extra to the rest of these. So let's just double check these sizes and trim them up. Oh, Kathy says, Alyssa, I received my order and the mystery package. I love it. Ugh, that makes me so happy to hear, Kathy. Oh, that's great. All right, so I have my trusty 6.5-inch ruler here, and let's get our cutting board here as well. And I'm just going to shimmy these all up to the side. We'll do them one at a time. And I'm just going to double check them and see how we did. Okay, that's looking really, really good. I do want to keep them in the same order here, so I am just kind of looking at that. Okay, good enough. I can definitely tell I'm going to have to add to some of these, but we'll let that be for now. Good enough. And then this is the one in question. So this is our one from last night. I want to center it, and I do need to trim 2 sides. And really, I should probably use a bigger ruler, but I'm going to just air cut up the rest, I think. Air cut, that's a word, right? All right, so I got about a 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch up there and down here, about the same from the side. So this is really tight in our 6.5-inch square, which is fine. All right, I think that's centered about right there. Tracy, they are 6.5-inch blocks, unfinished, and unfinished means before it's sewn into the quilt. So once it's sewn into the quilt, that is the finished size, and the finished size is 6 inches. So I'm cutting it to 6.5 inches right now. Oh my gosh, you guys, when is the last time I put on my cutting glove and used the rotary cutter? This is crazy. I feel like we haven't done quilting-y stuff or fabric stuff in ages. What the heck? All right, so I'm going to get that side. I have to get the little end over here yet, but let's get up here. So again, I'm just cutting these 2 sides, and here I'm going to just kind of aim backwards. I think that's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. So ultimately, obviously, I should be cutting that, but since we are doing this quilt as you go process, when you quilt, it kind of like pulls in on the fabric, and any excess on the side I can have, the better. Then I don't have to do like any little repair, which I've had to do kind of pretty often on this project, but that's okay. There, so this will be centered. I know it doesn't look centered now, but it will. And that's why I needed to choose kind of where it went in here first, because those are the sides that I needed to trim down for now. All right, so we need those white pieces in here and our little square in the middle, but I want to do our second group right away because I'd love to just sew these all at once, like assembly line this puppy. So shimmy that out of the way. Here's our second group. I think this is like awfully pretty too. This is the one that's supposed to look like a sewing machine needle. I think that's kind of fun. All right, let's get just this out again, and we'll just double check our measurements. Like I already lost my ruler. I laid it on top of the finished quilt, and it's the same color. So, ooh, wow, yeah, this one we lost 1/8 of an inch on the top there, but whatever. That happened a lot in this project. All right, that's not bad. Okay. And I think these other ones are pieced. Whoa, we're definitely going to have to add a lot on this one. That kind of happened a lot on my ones that had tons of pieces. Like I think this one had like 40-some pieces in, which is crazy. This is 4, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 40, 45 pieces in just this 6-inch square, 6.5-inch square. Isn't that nuts? There's so many pieces. And when you have so many pieces, you need to be even more perfect with your seam allowance and how you press. And clearly my seam allowances were maybe a little too big because my piece ended up a little too small. It's actually not too bad for that many pieces, but not perfect. So that one we'll have to add to later. And this one looks pretty good. So I don't think we have to do anything with this set. All right, so next up, let's get our pieces for the middle. So I already have these basically pre-cut. Here's my bin of that stuff. So what we're going to need, oh yeah, that's for repairs. That's right. It's been a while for this project. So we're going to need 8 of our little pre-cut deals. These are the 6.5 inches, so they're as tall as the blocks that we're working on. and then they're 1 inch thick. So we're going to end up, once they're sewn, with like a little 1/2 inch sashing piece, which is going to match our quilt as you go. So I'm just going to count out 8 here. We just cut a ton of this at the beginning of the project. I didn't count, I don't think. I just cut a bunch, so we're probably running out. Actually, we got a ton here yet. But we've been using it to repair the edges and for a bunch of other stuff. How many did I count? I just counted 4, right? Yeah. Got to make it easy for me to get those out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I'm going to just kind of randomly pick 2 of our little, well, there we go, 2 came up right away. 2 of our little squares that we've also pre-cut. These are 1 inch squares, so they'll end up to be like, you know, teeny tiny 1/2 inch squares once they're sewn. These will be our little center squares. They're called cornerstones. So when stashing pieces come to a point and you put a little square at that point, that square is called a cornerstone. What we're going to need soon, not quite yet, but we're going to need a backing piece that we've also pre-cut and a batting piece. And I have a variety of batting. I'm kind of using this project to play with different battings. I'm just kind of using up like a pile of random batting that I have. Always slow motion recycling here, I think. Okay, let's set that to the side. So I'm going to just lay these out, and then we can sew them all together. We're actually going to end up with sort of like 9 patch blocks, so let's put this one here, because this one's a lot in here, so I'm just going to put that one on the other side, just to add some variety. Hey, Dawn. Hey, everyone. Hey, Anne. Kathy. Both Kathys on YouTube. All right. So these will go in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the first column, so I'm going to sew these 2 together, then these 2, like just this piece, and then these 2 together. And then I'm going to do the same with the second group. So we'll do like all the first row, so I kind of have to remember which side is what, but I think I can remember that. And then we'll trim them and then come back and sew the other pieces on. So we'll have 3 rows, and then we'll have to press at that point. Ooh, speaking of, let's turn on the iron. Theoretically, I suppose I should press these before sewing, but I think we're probably fine. I know we've pressed them before. But yeah, before we do the final sewing of the 3 rows together, we'll definitely press. So all right, I'm going to just lay these out, and we will grab as we go, and we'll sew these guys. One big batch. Okay, so to the sewing machine. All right, and you guys, I'm going to shimmy sham over here for a sec. All right, thanks for bearing with me, everyone here. All right, like I said, we'll start at that top column, so I'm just grabbing this guy and this guy, and I'm going to just lay them together right here. So now this is the one that I had that extra on top, so I do need to line it with the bottom. Actually, I might just sew from that side as well. Oh, and you know what? This is, geez, we haven't done this in a while either. We can stitch using our leaders and enders, so let me grab those. So our leader and ender project, that quilt coat that I want to make, we can use this recycled clothing here for our leaders and enders on this project again. So this project is a project that I'm making while I make any other sewing project, and I'm going to be turning these in half square triangles. Wow, this is like really, really thin fabric, thin, delicate fabric. This old clothing, like an old shirt. All right, there. Now we'll sew this. So all the other ones I'll do from the top. This one's just a little bit weird. Doing it from the side like this. Ooh, hold on here. That's why my machine's smelling a little funny. Got that guy in there yet. Okay. Are the all the blocks done, but never put together or quilted. Oh, that's a good place to be in. That's pretty far. All right, I got my little stiletto here to help if I need it. Oh, this is blinking really weird on. I'm gonna turn this light off. It's blinking really weird on my phone. And I think we can still see decently. All right. And then we have our bottom piece. Ooh, these little petals are going to be really close to the edge, but that's fine. That's probably where they should be. I feel like I went through them though. Let's see. Oh no. Oh, I just went through the seam. That's why it felt heavy. All right, so this is our first column. Now I'm going to grab them from the other group, top to bottom. So I just have to remember how they're going on the machine so I can take them off in the same order. And again, some of these are not going to be perfect. Oh, and I should be sewing it the other way anyway because I should be matching up these corners. I don't know. Once I get to this point in the process, I feel like I lose the desire for precision, or I just forget about it. I don't know. We'll flip the second piece around and see. All right, here's this piece. We'll do this one where I can see the corners or the points. Oh, Anne, I missed your first comment. Anne says, I'm so tempted to get the Splendid Sampler 2 book and start this quilt, but I never finished the first one. But you finished all the blocks on the first one, so that's pretty dang good. What I like about these two is that you could just pick like the one block that you like and, you know, make a quilt out of just that. So now I'm aiming for where these seams are meeting, and that's how I'm going to get some decent points. I didn't do that with the last block. Okay, so I can get another leader and ender here. So I can take this off the machine. It's hard to tell right and wrong sides with these, I think like so. Okay. All right, so let's trim all these off. I'm actually going to trim them in order just so I don't confuse myself. All right, we have, move you guys over again. Oops, sorry. There we are. Okay. So we have our leader here. We can just put that away, and 1 and 2 together. So this guy will go onto there. Then next up, we have these guys. Here's the last one here. Not quite sure. I don't remember which direction this one went in, but we'll do it this direction now. Okay, and these ones go on the other side. The other group. So I'm going to press these after after this next round of sewing. There, those points turned out very nice though. They're right, all the points are right on the seam. That's ideal. That's what I forgot to do on the other one. How did we do on that one without looking? And we kind of clipped that one. We clipped that one too. These bottom two look decent though. But yeah, we snipped the little point of that point off, which is a bummer, but who cares? All right, let's now do our second set. So the second, or basically the third column, we'll be sewing onto the first grouping. So we'll do the two sets again. So all right, let's go. Okay, back to the machine. All right. So I have my leader from before. I can snip that little fuzzle off the end. All right, let's grab these two. We'll sew from the bottom again. Just so it lines up. So this is definitely a learning quilt. I mean, there's mistakes all over it, and I think that's why I don't get too riled up with like there being little points that aren't perfect and all that. I'm doing my best to concentrate on that when I can, but I'm not having it be like the be-all end-all of the quilt. It'd be fun to do a quilt, though, where I do put precision as, like, the objective. I haven't done that for a quilt yet, though. I'm just trying to do better and improve, but I'm not, like, being strict about it. I am trying to build it in, though, to, like, learning, just so I can get better on doing it naturally, like aim for those points and all that. All right, that's our first section. Let's grab the second one. I think we'll go from this one got a little messed up. I'm gonna go so that the blocks are even. Which maybe was a dumb idea, but like I said, we're gonna have to do repairs on this to add length and stuff anyway. So not everything's gonna line up perfectly. Yep, Marcia says done is better than perfect, and Anne is 80%, and I'm an 80% exactly. Like, we're making it 80% good here. That's always the plan. 80% good. Stiletto to help me a little bit. I'm pretty sure I clipped that point, but oh well. Lots of edges here. Let's sew this open. Phew, there we go. And get our leader in here again. All right, let's snip all those and see what we got. Oh, I should have kind of done this in order again, but I think there's more together now, so it won't be as difficult. Okay. Ooh, and let's get the iron going again. Now is the time where we're gonna have to press this. So I've had to switch thread since I've started this, so you can definitely see this orange thread on the white quite a bit more, but I think that's fine. Then I don't have to buy more thread. Oh, Kathy says I haven't worked on this in a long time. I know it feels like a long time for me too. I guess we've been working on these 8 blocks, right? So it's been a while since we've assembled anything, for sure. All right, we're gonna have to get the iron out, and let's see. I think I'm gonna press the seam allowances of the block ones, like towards each of them towards the centerpiece, and the seam allowance for the ones in the middle I'll point away, and then I can nest those seams together, so hopefully they match up decently. There, that goes there. Okay, let's grab my pressing mat. We'll shimmy these out of the way. Okay, first up. And now we can give like the nice press on the front too. So, yep, we're going to press the seams to the center here. Oh, look, that seam didn't quite work. That should have been open, but oh well. Like I said, once I get to this point, I'm just like, let's sew these guys together. And then I stop looking at all the details again. Oh well. And this guy. So we want that nice folded center seam there. Let's get the front. Now's where it starts to look super nice when it's pressed. They're fun. Those guys are together. All right, let's get that center one. The center one now is going to be pressed outward. So we'll just go over the top like so. Get it from the front. All right, and I guess let's do the other set right away as well. Yeah, towards the center. Do that side first. Really has been a long time since we've worked on this, hasn't it? It's fun, I like it. Now you can start seeing, I know I talked about this other day that I made some decisions before we really started the quilt, and one was the light colors. So you can, I picked out all the light tans and light yellow fabrics that I owned that I could find, and it ended up being a little bit more yellow than what I was initially thinking, just because I must have happened to have a little bit more yellow. But the other thing is that I wanted to do a white background when I could. Like when it was obvious, like this one is obvious, like this is the center area, so I did the white background. And then, I tried to, whatever seemed like the most background area, I did with the white. So that's kind of my 2 parameters, design parameters I gave myself. And I always kind of like doing that. It makes decision-making way easier along the process. All right, I'm going to just put that up there for now, and let's get this guy. Again, I'm just kind of pressing to the inside and then just like pressing everything again. Ooh, this is that one with like 45 pieces in it. Just get the whole top. Let's squish that one again. All right. Now the centerpiece. you. Ooh, and I think, you guys, I might pop in tomorrow for like an hour or so, just in the middle of the day. I don't quite know when yet, but I'll like put a notice out on Facebook like before I go live. It'll probably be around maybe 11ish, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, so I'm going to start stitching those flowers, those like the snow crocus and daffodils, tulips, all those guys. So we'll start with one. They're the sample pieces that I'll be photographing for the covers, and they need to get stitched, so I'm going to do those live kind of randomly during the day. We'll work on one tomorrow, and then I might come on Friday, but I might actually just do a big long marathon on Saturday. So we'll just kind of see how it goes, and I'll do it. I'll try and be on in all the places too. So wherever you like watching best, I'll do that. Ooh, I think I folded this one over funny. Yeah, let's get right there again. Okay, looking nice. So now let's get our groupings back together here. So we're going to do our nice long seamed, and you know what? I think we're going to clip these together too. Let's do that. So I'm going to grab my Wonder Clips. I just want to make sure I'm matching up the seams. So we're actually going to be doing the top two first, and then we'll sew the bottom two. So I'm going to just actually move the bottom two out of the way for now. I'll just have to remember those are the bottom two. All right, so let's fold over this edge, and I'm trying to match up the seams, which should be decently easy to do now that I've pressed them in opposite directions, so they have like a little fold on each side from pressing, and those folds, when they match up, they just kind of lock in next to each other. It's called like nesting the seam. So I'm going to just do that and add a little clip. I'm going to do one on the other side too. And clip right there. So that's just trying to get those seams matched. And then because these are really floppy, I might just put another clip at the end. So this is the one that we added extra, or like we left the extra, so that's why this doesn't match up. Again, I think we will probably have to add more on after we've quilted, kind of like the other ones. We've done a lot of kind of mending of the quilting as we've done this, but I'm learning as I go here. All right, so this grouping is ready. Let's get our second group ready so we can do both at the same time. Oh, Robin, I'll have, so the flowers aren't available yet. What I have right now, so I do have a listing for the 5 flowers that we'll be stitching. I do have a listing for that over on the website. It's not a buy. It's you can't buy anything yet though. The listing's there, but it says there's like a quantity of 0, and there is a button though that says like remind me when like send me an email when these are available again. So I am gonna make so that only the bundle is up there right now. However, I will be having these all as individual kits and also as PDF patterns as well. So those are definitely less expensive. So if you sign up for that reminder on the bundle, then you'll get an email like the moment I make them live. And then once you're there, then you can like look for the other ones too if you're not wanting the bundle. So there'll be other options. But yeah, I'm not gonna have them available yet though. Like I said, these are my sample. These are going to be my sample pieces, and so they're not going to be available till they're done stitching. but all the videos saved and all that. So we'll just do our quick little marathon of stitching them, and then they'll be available hopefully shortly after that. And like I said, they'll have the bundle, which will have like a discounted price, and then they'll all be separate as kits, and then they'll also all be separate as PDF patterns. All right, let's do these 2 rows, and then I think I'll, before pressing, I will match up the bottoms and sew them, and then we'll press the whole thing. And dang, then we got our 2 tops ready for this. That's exciting. All right, let's head to the machine again. All right, I'm gonna twist you guys over this way again. Thanks for bearing with me. All right, to the machine. All right, so hopefully these clips help me out a little bit. Slide that off. All right, now here's our first seam coming here that is nested together. So I'm just going to try and hold that there so it stays nested. The goal is I want this seam to line up with this seam. You know, if that's a little off, then oh well, who cares? But that's the goal. That's what I'm attempting to do. I'm going to probably clip a few more of these points because I'm sewing from this side, but oh well. All right, that's the first one. Let's get this second one in here right away. I love this chain piecing where you can just keep sewing. You know, maybe the rest of the week, you know, we do have Thursday and Friday here yet. I'm kind of tempted to get the this leader and ender, those blocks out again, and seeing where we're at with those and seeing if we can move that any further along. That'd be kind of fun. That would feel good. Moving along all those unfinished projects in week 4. That's my goal. All right, let's get this leader in here. All right, let's snip that and put the bottoms, or I guess, yeah, the bottoms on. All right. So let's snip those apart. Snip our leader off. This is a finished one. And what do we got? So let's see how we did. Oh yeah, those seams are like super nicely lined up. So that was the goal right there. Yeah, that one looks great. Let's see how we did here. That one looks pretty dang good too, and these points are looking nice too. I didn't snip them off, so that worked out. All right, so we need the bottom pieces on here. So now this one went with this one, and this one went with this one. Yeah, it wasn't like this. It was like this. Okay. Let's flip that around, and we're going to match up those seams again. I think we'll sew with this one on the top. Yeah, I don't know. I'm debating in my head what side we should have as the top and the bottom, but maybe I'm thinking too hard. What quilt am I, Gina's asking, what quilt am I currently using on my bed? I'm using the Jean quilt. That is the winter quilt. It's super duper heavy and comfy. So Jean quilt right now. Actually, I have another quilt on it too. It's this quilt that I made a long time ago that's just extra muslin that I have. I actually want to make more of these. And it has a bunch of circles that I cut out of wool that I had, just scrap wool from other projects. And all those circles are like sewn onto, like quilted onto the top in just rows and rows of these circles. And it's just, it's a whole quilt with a whole layer of wool on it. So we actually need both those quilts because it is old still. So jean quilt and that extra quilt. Ugh. But it's extra heavy. That's fun. I have not made a t-shirt quilt. That's kind of on my list. Oh, I got another one to do here. I was going to head to the sewing machine, but I got this guy to do yet. My mom has a bunch of t-shirts from forever ago, and we keep toying with the idea of like, oh, we should do that, give that a try, but, I think the first thing I got to do is buy some of that stabilizer, and I forget what it is again. I have it written down here. Oh, SF101 stabilizer for t-shirts. I got to post it. I know we've talked about it before, so I have a post-it up here that says that. But yeah, so I need to get some of that, and probably a whole freaking pile of it for a whole t-shirt quilt. But yeah, so we'll have to, one of the times I'm there, we'll just have to, kind of binge work on that project, I think. But no, I've never done one of those before. I know Jenna has, Jenna who works with me. But yeah, so I don't know. It's sort of on the list of unfinished projects, really, so it'd be one of these days I'll just order some and bring it with when we visit, and we'll crank it out. Alright, I'm just going to kind of go right in the middle there. Alright, well, let's just see how this goes. We'll start with this one. We got our 2 chunks here, so we will press it after this. I'm going to get the iron heated up again, and we'll have 2 pieces kind of ready to go. We might even have time to sandwich them tonight. Maybe, we'll see. So, alright, let's head to the sewing machine. Sewing machine time. Oh, Robin says that my daughter made one for me. Oh, that's so nice. I mean, I think you'll have to let me know, but I would assume that they'd be just super soft and comfy and just feel just really, really nice. I've made little string pouches or pouches with drawstring, that's what they're called. I've made some drawstring bags out of old t-shirts. So that's a fun thing you can do with t-shirts if you didn't want to do a t-shirt quilt, or if you didn't have enough for a t-shirt quilt. So that was fun. I did that before. With some if it's a favorite t-shirt with a fun graphic, then that's a fun way to just still be able to use it for something. Ugh, I feel like I went through 1,000 seams sewing that. All right, let's get this other one. This machine can go through anything, though. It's great. To that middle seam. This is also reminding me that I get annoyed, not annoyed, but it's more annoying, I suppose, to be stitching these big things. I'm from doing these Splendid Sampler projects, I'm so used to working in my tiny 6.5-inch square of sewing that whenever I sew anything bigger than that, it's just so clumsy. There's just fabric everywhere, and a seam takes forever. It's just funny. Oh, I need a new leader here. Got my little bin. Gosh, I actually, yeah, I think those are the right sides. What do these look like as half square triangles? I haven't checked them out yet. That's kind of cute. That'll be cute. All right, that's that, I guess. All right, let's see what we got here. And we'll do our pressing. Okay, scissors. We'll just leave that leader on the machine, I think. Okay, let's see. Ah, pretty. All right, that'll look, I mean, we do have this excess, but that's on purpose. How do we do matching up those seams? Not too shabby. So there, now we have, it looks like it just blends in, like, you know, once it's all quilted, you won't really notice that there's these extra pieces here. It all just kind of blend together, but we'll have like just the cute little dot right in the middle, which is fun. So there's that one. And this guy, that looks matched up pretty well. These little points look pretty good. Clipped one of these points, but otherwise not too bad. So great, we have 2 pieces here. So let's press them and see where we're at then. And we could maybe even sandwich these tonight if we do that really quickly. So I'm going to press these seams inward. There's all these other seams we have to deal with though too, so I've got to be a little careful. Alright, let's get this side. There's so much bulk happening in these blocks. Just trying to squish everything down. Fuzzles everywhere. Ah, it looks so clean once it's pressed. All right, here's our first grouping of 4. I love that we just kind of put these randomly. I know we switched a couple around, but throughout the quilt, like we did not have all our 100 blocks and we just didn't place them all just perfect, right? We just are kind of going with whatever happens, and I think that's just really fun. I like doing that. All right, get this one. And I'll grab 2 back pieces and 2 batting pieces. I'll just bring that whole thing back over here, and we'll pick those out. I do want to theoretically press the back pieces, though. I'm assuming they need it. We will see. All right. Oops. Fun. It's just neat to see them all come together. And I'm not going to have any loose blocks laying around anymore. They're all going to be sewn into something, so that's like motivation to get more done too, I think. All right, let's look. So our 2 new groupings, we got that guy and this sweet little one here too. That's just so cute. All right, let's get my bin of stuffs out again. Okay, for the quilting part, we need 2 backs. So these are pre-cut before, and actually I don't think I have enough of this, so I think a couple of our backs might actually end up being a different color. So that's kind of silly, but that's how it is. We're Frankensteining this quilt together. And then, you know, some batting pieces. We got some floofy, like, polyester stuff, and, geez, just all sorts of stuff. I think, I'm just going to take these. I don't know if I want to do the floofy stuff. Let's just save that. Maybe there'll be, like, one that will be fun to have extra floofy. And clearly, I don't think I have, like, 20, wait, how many blocks do I have left? I have, like, 28 blocks. So I'd need about like 7 of these yet after I take 2 out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to actually need more batting too. Yeah, well. All right, I'm going to grab these two for now. So these will be our 2 batting pieces, and then I have the 2 back pieces. And these can live somewhere else again for a while. Okay, so the batting pieces I don't need to press, but let's just, so it looks nice, let's press these 2 guys. I do really kind of want to finish this up tonight. Then we can play around with another project tomorrow. So we're just prepping our pieces for quilting, and maybe we'll quilt next month. That'd be fun. All right, that guy looks good. So I might be a little late here again tonight, you guys. 10 more minutes over than usual, but that's I'm okay with doing that. All right, this is making me feel better. They're looking nicer. All right, so I'm going to actually do this on my cutting mat just because I'm going to be pinning these and I don't want to scratch up my table too much. So let's stick this here. The other thing I'm going to get is my painter's tape, and I saved some pieces on here, it looks like. But I am going to tape a back piece down, get all the fuzzles out of there so they're not in the quilt. Let's just tape in the middle, and then I'll tape some sides too. I'm sure we won't be able to use this tape again. Trying to just smooth it out. This is way nicer doing it in these little tiny squares versus a whole quilt doing this where you're just on the floor taping down the quilt. All right, I'm going to need 2 more pieces, I think. And, you know, if I was doing this on the ground, I'd probably use a lot more tape too, or use like on a larger quilt. But for this, it's going to go real quick, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Ugh, that was bizarre. Little tape piece there. Okay, smooth enough. I can make any adjustments. This is not even sticking. I should have used all fresh tape, I suppose. Let's get this guy. But we're going to just let it be. All right, let's get a batting piece. Place that on top. All right, and then one of our front pieces. There we go. So this should be the smallest piece, and all the other pieces will be bigger. So now I'm going to grab my basting pins. So these are my curved safety pins, and we'll just drip a few out. And we're going to use these to put these 3 layers together. So this is called sandwiching the quilt. We're making our quilt sandwich. I don't really know where oh gosh, if they don't go through the fabric well, then they're going on the garbage pile because it's annoying when you can't get all the way through, although I think I just am going through a zillion seams here. So I'm trying to go through all 3 layers here. I don't know where I'm going to quilt exactly yet, so normally I would put the pins where they'd avoid being in the way of where I'm going to quilt, but I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. So we're just going to maybe put one in the middle of each and on the corner of each, kind of working from the middle out. And then it's basically like we have our quilt temporarily held together. I love this stage because it acts like a quilt. Like once I unpin this or undo the tape, it's going to feel like drapey and blankety. I like that part. So we're going to do it for this block, and then we'll do it for the other one yet tonight too, just because we'll be done. then, and so I think we'll be like 10 minutes or so over. But it is nice to stop at a good place, and this feels good. So next month, during the fourth week of the month, we could quilt both of these. I think we can quilt each one probably in a day. That's kind of how it's been. I suppose it depends how we plan on quilting it, though, too. But we can do whatever we want. I think I'll do some free motion quilting, though, for sure, because I need to practice, because I want to do that I Love Home quilt. So it'd be fun to actually look up some border edging, because that's what I want to do for the I Love Home quilt, and so maybe we can practice some of that on these. I don't know how that would work yet, but it'd be kind of fun. All right, 2 more. I'm being kind of precise where I put them. I don't think you really need to be. You just want them close enough together that when you quilt, they're not going to move around. All right, so, oh, dude, I had like the exact amount. Oh no, I'm missing one. I'm like, I had the exact amount I needed. But let's get this bottom corner. So the problem with this natural, we'll just lift that up. The problem with this natural batting is that you can sometimes see through. You can see like the speckles through to the white. And I just remembered there is like a top and bottom to batting. Does anyone know how that works again? Like there's the one side that you can see all the pin pricks in, and then the one side that you can't as much. And this side is much cleaner, like less of the speckled. I should have put that one on the top where all the white is, but oh well. I think once we get all the stitching in, I mean, who's going to see that? Who's going to care? All right, so now I'm going to take my tape pieces off. I think we'll just try and reuse them. They're not really doing much. But we'll try and reuse them. All right, here's the one. There, and see, now it's like a little quilt ready to go, ready to be quilted, so I love that. Let's do the other one quickly here. Ugh, it's just fun. I love that stage. All right, back piece again. I already kind of crinkled it up here. Let's get some corners. Ooh. Threw the batting on top of the iron, probably not a good idea. This is probably overkill for just this little piece, but I don't know. I'm so used to doing it, like taping it down, that for big quilts, I just doing it here too. All right, our batting piece. Now this is a bleached one. See, like there's the bumpy side and then there's the smooth side. I'm going to put the smooth side up. There is like an actual rule to this, but I don't know what it is. I don't remember which way that goes. All right, let's get this guy on here. Pretty, it's pretty. All right, let's get some of these guys. I always put them in. This is a trick for my mom. I don't close these when I put them away because then you have to open them all when you take them out again, which sucks. They do make a little stick. Maybe I can use something for that. I don't have anything, but like where it helps close all these. And I think my mom got one of those and she really likes it. Something to just help close this, because especially if you're doing a whole quilt, to have to like get your nail in here and close all these pins is annoying. I know a lot of people like spray basting a quilt. I've never done that before, and I don't feel like I have a location where I can just spray stuff. And I know people also like, doing that on a wall versus the floor. I mean, luckily I can do it just on the table here, but I also don't have a wall space for that. Oh, Laura just says use a grapefruit spoon. Oh, that's smart. Just like, you know what? I can probably just use like my scissors here. Let's do that. So I think the idea is you just, haven't done this, but you just do your little thing, and then you have something that just helps you close it. Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. That worked okay. I think that little device has some grooves in it. Oops. Some grooves that help catch the little edge, but yeah, just going. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing too much, so I'll just do it with my fingers. I have a couple different size pins here, just whatever fell out of the container here. I think they both work. Big ones are a little easier to close. All right, I need like 4 more here. I mean, you do get them in a crazy little bunch, which is annoying, but less annoying than having to undo them all. Yeah, that didn't take that long. Oh, Christy, I should show you guys that. So Christy's asking, how will these blocks be joined together to make the larger quilt? That is the fun part. So we're using a process called Quilt as you go. So I'll show you, I have like one half done, so I can show you how to do it. Well, let's move this, and then I can show you on my bigger piece here. We'll take a look at it. So I do have a bunch of rows already sewn together using the Quilt as you go method. So I'll just kind of walk through it. All right, but here's our second piece. Let me just move some things quick so I can lay out the quilt. Okay, there's this guy all ready to be quilted. So for quilt as you go process, so the next steps would be that we just quilt. And all that means is we're going to sew these 3 layers together and remove the pins, so it'll be like for real sewn together. We will quilt just these smaller pieces, which is way a zillion times easier than doing that with a whole quilt, like the whole quilt top, the whole back, the whole batting. It's much easier to quilt and play around with quilting when you're just doing a smaller piece like this. But to assemble it, we have the problem that we have like this raw edge all the way around, right? And that doesn't work for a quilt because you need all the edges clean. So let me grab this one that I have going here. So this is part of a row that I'm working on. And let's see. So, here's the raw edge, and here's them all together. Yeah, I'm not quite done here. So what we did is I've done the quilting, and then we've trimmed it to size. But then I've added another sashing piece. So I have 2 of them here. So I have a quilted one here and a quilted one here. And then I've sewn them together with another piece of sashing and another cornerstone thing. So it mimics what I got going on here. So that's a 1 inch wide piece for this, so it ends up being a 1/2 inch. But then on the back, as I'm sewing this in, I'm also sewing a little binding piece almost. So I think this was, let's see, I think these were, how big were these? Like 1.5 inches? I think these are 1.5. So I pressed them in half the long way, so I have a fold right here. So that's sewn at the same time that the sashing is sewn. And here's our raw edge, right? This is going to be tilted over, and then I'm going to either hand stitch or machine stitch that binding down. So that's what's covering up the open seams from sewing them together. So this one is not done yet. Here are a few that are done. So you can definitely tell that it does look like a little binding piece here, and for some reason that color even looks a little different. It could be different. It could be from a different bolt. But yeah, so this one's hand stitch. I know we've done machine stitch before. So that is, and then there's no quilting in the sashing or the binding piece, right? Because we're just connecting to quilted. Oh, you understand, but I'm going to have to watch you do the seams. Yeah, so that's the trick, because, so we sew, we'll sew the sashing piece and the back flap, that back binding piece. We'll sew those 2 layers plus one of these quilt blocks that we've quilted. We'll sew those 3 together. And then when we sew the second piece on, we're actually only sewing it to the sashing piece, and we're not sewing it onto the back binding piece. And that's why we can see our raw edges. But yeah, and then we're just going to flip that over and just hand stitch it down. So we're covering up. And then I'm just going to go in and hand tack it all down all the way along the way. So that's, fussy, but it's kind of fun doing a little bit of hand stitching during it. And I love how the back of this is looking, because you can see all the quilting happening. It's just fun. So that's, let's see, we got 1, 2, it's going to be 5 sections of my groups of 4. So it'll actually be 10 across, 10 individual blocks, but I like thinking of it as my 4 pieces, like what we made tonight. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, so this is a finished row, except for that I didn't finish this part yet. So I think what that means, I'll show you the other ones. What I think that means is that we're going to be starting another row with the ones that we have. Oh, wait, look, here's a loose one. So here's one that has been quilted, but is not attached to anything yet. So I guess this guy's just hanging out, ready for us to finish those other 2. Then we have this one. So we're getting there. Well, it'll be 10 blocks by 10 blocks, ultimately. Oh, look at this one with the little cloud and the sun there. That was a fun. Man, we got creative on some of these. There it says Chad. Chad Kitty showed up in another project. Okay, 3. So this is a row. This is some fun quilting. It's all fun quilting. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So this is a finished row. Eventually, we're going to have to do a really long sashing piece to put the rows together. Haven't done that yet, so that's going to be an ordeal. Did we look at this one yet? Yeah, this is the one that's not finished yet. And then this one. So we have 3 rows practically done. 1 thing ready to go, and then 2 that we need to quilt, so that will be 3. So, we got a whole nother row, plus 2 more of these of blocks worth to go. But yeah, this is just a really fun way for me to practice free motion quilting and just play around with some different ideas and stuff, and I am having a great time playing around with that. So, and we haven't done it in a while, so it'll be fun to break it out again. So let's see again. I want to get that unfinished one on the top. Yep, that's my unfinished piece. Can't forget about that. And then this one, who's individual, ready to go. And then our 2 new ones. We got this guy and this guy all ready to quilt. So we have all sorts of different processes, and then we still have to make 28 more individual blocks. So, I mean, it's wacky because, we're still making the blocks while we're making the whole thing. But that's kind of the fun part of it all, too. So, so by the time we're done making the blocks, we're actually practically almost done quilting the quilt. So that's just kind of the neat thing with doing the quilt as you go process here. It's getting fat though. It's starting to look like the size of a quilt folded up. All right, you guys. So I think we'll call it there for tonight. I got all my camera stuff here everywhere again. But yeah, I feel good about that. We got 2 whole things sewn together, plus prepped to quilt. I am Excited for that. So I think, next month when we work on this again, I'm only trying to work on this project like a couple days during the last week of the month, so we can play around with some other projects and stuff too during the last week. So we'll probably pick this up again in March, in the last full week of the month. But I can see us quilting both of these. So we will have like 3 quilted pieces ready to assemble, and maybe we assemble them the month after that. We still have those 28 more blocks to go though, so we still have to sew those. It's like the never-ending project, but it's fun. I'm learning still and practicing, and it's fun, but man, it's making me want to at least finish a whole pile of other projects, because this one will be a while yet. But awesome. All right, you guys, thanks again for joining me, and keep an eye out for like any notification on Facebook or whatever, because I will probably be going live to stitch some of those sample embroideries for that flower collection starting tomorrow. But definitely on Saturday. Saturday I'll be doing a marathon of that. So if you can't make it in the middle of the day tomorrow, I'll be there on Saturday. So, all right, have a lovely weekend, or not weekend, rest of your day. If it was only the weekend, right? Rest of the Wednesday. We got 2 whole days yet to go. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.